Welcome to the Decode Factory. They said he couldn't buy Twitter. He did. They said he couldn't catch a rocket with chopsticks. He did. Now, the world is asking the final, most terrifying question. What happens if Elon Musk decides to buy the White House? Today, we decode the impossible timeline. Elon Musk as the 48th president of the United States. This is a scenario that sounds impossible until you realize who we are talking about. We are going to talk about a timeline where the richest man on Earth becomes the most powerful man in history. We are decoding the hypothetical presidency of Elon Musk. Imagine it is the year 2028. The American elections are over. The votes are counted. And the winner isn't a politician. It isn't a Democrat. It isn't a Republican. The winner is the techno king himself. Elon Musk is sworn in as the 48th president of the United States. But wait, before we talk about what he would do, we have to address the elephant in the room. The impossible hurdle? The United States Constitution. Article 2. Section 1 clearly states that only a natural-born citizen can become president. Elon Musk was born in Pretoria, South Africa. Technically, he cannot run. But we are talking about a man who bought Twitter just because he didn't like the rules. We are talking about a man who lands rockets backwards. In this scenario, imagine a massive political movement in 2026. The Amendment for Competence, a campaign funded by billions, arguing that America shouldn't care where a leader is born, but how smart they are. With enough lobbying, enough influence, and enough public support, the 22nd Amendment is revised. The door opens, and Elon walks in. So, what happens on day one? The first thing you would notice is the silence, not from the people, but from the government. Elon Musk hates inefficiency. When he took over Twitter, he fired 80% of the staff, and the site kept running. Imagine him applying that same logic to the US government. Within the first week, the Department of Education? Gone. Replaced by an AI-driven curriculum accessible on tablets. The IRS? Simplified. The thousands of bureaucrats pushing paper in Washington, D.C. would receive a pink slip, likely via an email that says, "Your role is no longer essential. Good luck." He would run the United States not like a country, but like a startup. We would see the creation of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Every tax dollar spent would be tracked on a public blockchain. If a bridge costs $1 billion to build, Elon would demand it be done for $10 million, or he would send his own boring company to do it. But that is just the boring administrative stuff. Let's talk about the economy. President Musk has always been a critic of the traditional banking system. Under his presidency, the Federal Reserve might face its biggest threat. Imagine the US dollar moving away from the gold standard or the oil standard and moving towards an energy standard. Or perhaps a crypto-integrated economy. While he might not make Dogecoin the national currency, the digital dollar would become absolute. Cash would disappear. Every transaction would be digital, instant, and transparent. This brings efficiency, but it also brings total surveillance. If the government is run by the man who owns the digital town square, X, and the satellite network, Starlink, and the electric grid, Tesla, privacy becomes a memory. Now, let's look at the sky. Foreign policy would change overnight. Currently, America spends billions maintaining military bases in Germany, Japan, and Korea. Musk is a pragmatist. He might pull troops back. Why? Because his focus isn't Earth, it's Mars. Under President Musk, the entire focus of the American economy would shift upward. NASA would be absorbed into the Space Force, and the Space Force would essentially become a subsidiary of SpaceX. The national budget would be poured into building the Starship fleet. He wouldn't just be the president of America. He would be the founder of the Martian colonies. We might see a law passed that allows criminals or people with debt to wipe their slate clean by signing a contract to work on Mars. A new form of indentured servitude in the stars. The American flag would be planted on the red planet, not as a scientific mission, but as a territorial claim. But here is where the script gets dark. Elon Musk believes that to survive AI, we must merge with it. He owns Neuralink. If he controls the FDA and the health regulations, the approval process for brain chips would speed up from years to months. Imagine a world where enhanced citizens, people with Neuralink chips, get tax breaks. People who can process data faster, work harder, and interface directly with machines. We could see a class divide in America. The naturals versus the enhanced. The president himself might address the nation not through a microphone, but telepathically, streaming thoughts directly into the minds of the chipped population. And what about democracy? Elon has often criticized the slow speed of voting. He prefers real-time feedback. Imagine governance by X. Instead of waiting 4 years to vote, policies are pulled daily on the X app. Should we invade this country? Yes or no? Should we ban this chemical? Yes or no? It sounds like pure democracy, but it is easily manipulated by bots, algorithms, and the owner of the platform himself. The president would have the power to boost the algorithm to favor his policies. It would be an illusion of choice. Now, let's come back to reality. What are the actual chances of this happening? Statistically, almost zero. The Constitution is very hard to change. The political establishment, both Democrats and Republicans, hate outsiders who threaten their power. They would unite to stop him. However, does Elon Musk really need to be president? Think about it. He is currently the richest man in the world. He controls the flow of information on X. He controls the skies with Starlink, so much so that nations at war have to ask his permission to use internet for drones. He controls the future of transport with Tesla and the future of space with SpaceX. And now, he has a very close relationship with the current leadership of the United States. In many ways, he is already a shadow president. He doesn't have to shake hands with diplomats or sign bills. He can influence the world without the headache of bureaucracy. He can fire rockets without asking Congress for permission. But the ambition of Elon Musk is never satisfied. Power is a drug. If the opportunity arose, if the laws were tweaked, if the crisis was big enough that the people demanded a savior, would he take the job? Absolutely. Because for a man who wants to save humanity, being the president of the most powerful nation on Earth is just another step on the checklist. It is just another acquisition. If Elon Musk ever becomes president, one thing is certain. It won't be boring. It might be terrifying, it might be efficient, and it might be the end of traditional democracy. But it will be a show the entire galaxy will watch. Until then, we watch his tweets and we wonder. This is the Decode Factory, signing off.